Elsenham in Essex. For many years there's been talk of building thousands of new homes here, much to the anger of local people. Today's announcement may mean that the plans are permanently kicked into touch.
The District Council administration has said that if there were a Conservative government, then if they did away with the regional targets, then they would rethink the whole policy. So we're hoping, very hopeful, that we won't have to have 3,000 houses here at Elsenham.
One of the most contentious issues in this region has been where to put the thousands of new homes which are needed. Until now, it's been left to organisations like the old Regional Assembly to draw up regional planning strategies. But not anymore. The government wants a decision made by local councils.
We'll be moving to abolish the housing targets, and what we want is for communities to be able to decide the natural rhythm and natural growth of their communities.
The government says it's also committed to maintaining the green belt and will protect green areas of particular importance to local communities. That could be good news for those who fought controversial housing plans. But critics say leaving it to local councils will mean nothing gets done.
There's an awful lot of councils out there who won't want any growth or any new housing at all. So what we're likely to find is a housing shortage or infrastructure problems that will be caused by having no regional kind of directional guidance.
In Waterbeach, near Cambridge, sits a £24 million call centre for the new regional fire service. The new government says it's against merging the county's fire brigades. So will this scheme now be scrapped? The unions hope so.
We've got dedicated people working in the east of England, in our control rooms and on our fire stations that provide a fantastic service. Nobody's saying that we don't need investment in the fire service, of course we do. But what we don't need is this never-ending black hole of the waste of public money to continue.
The regional government office in Cambridge may close, and there'll be no more regional ministers. Labour's Barbara Follett, the last one for the East. The Conservatives regard the job as a waste of money. The freeze on council tax will be welcomed by those who pay it, but councils will struggle further to balance their books. Expect more cuts. And the plans for unitary status in Norfolk and Suffolk are definitely off.
It's over. It's not going to happen. We'll take the necessary measures to stop it, and my message is very clear to chief officers and to councillors. Do not waste the public's money by spending any more money on this.
There'll be plenty of critics, but the government is determined to save money and give local people more control. Andrew Sinclair, BBC Look East.
Hundreds of families turned out in Cambridgeshire today to see their loved ones return from Afghanistan. The RAF servicemen and women have been stationed in Helmand province for the last 6 months. Stuart Ratcliffe saw them touch down at RAF Wittering.
After 6 long months, this is the moment all these families have been looking forward to. But after just a few fleeting glimpses of their loved ones, reunions were put on hold for an agonisingly long hour whilst the men cleared customs. But then finally, the moment everyone had waited so long for.
Well, it's just indescribable, really. We've been looking forward to seeing them all, and just to see all the guys, it's just a great, great day. And, you know, the sun's shining down on us. We've missed them so much, and we're so proud of them. And so the feeling's it's just wonderful to have them back.
Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I just couldn't wait for today. I've been planning this day for weeks. I've had a week off work. I've been planning it for weeks and weeks.
Look East filmed the men in November, just before they left for Afghanistan. And preparing for the tour of duty was Ben Fiddler from Newmarket.
It was hard, it was really difficult, especially with the heat, and I think a lot of the lads experienced a lot of different things to what they were expecting, but yeah, all in all it was really good.
Number 1 RAF Force Protection Wing and Number 3 Squadron RAF Regiment were based in Helmand Province and played a vital role in protecting British troops from the Taliban.
Well, essentially we were protecting UK air assets. All the aircraft that are flying into Camp Bastion and flying out of there, we were protecting those. We were also part of Op Moshtarak as well, which was the big offensive against the Taliban in the green zone in Nadi Ali.
But back in Cambridgeshire, Helmand Province seemed a world away, as these brave men put their tour of duty behind them and focused on readjusting to family life. Stuart Radcliffe, BBC Look East at RAF Wittering.
We've had a huge response to what's become known in Cambridge as the Battle of Gilbert Road. Cyclists and local residents are at odds over plans to ban parking there and set up enforced cycle lanes. Let's join our chief reporter, Kim Riley. Kim.
Yes, I'm at Mandarin Cycles, as you can see. It's an independent family-run store in Norwich, and here they can put you on the road on one of those for about £130, give or take. Now, if you come in here, we can show you some of the more upmarket end of the market. This is quite an interesting one. This is an electric bicycle. Those are coming increasingly popular with their inbuilt batteries there. And how about this one across here? This is a Land Rover. It has 27 gears, hydraulic disc brakes, normally £900, £700 to you. Now, whatever you take to the road on two wheels, you're sharing it with cars, with lorries and buses. That can lead to tensions and worse. Here's one man's story.
Paul Jones has been cycling for some 35 years. A camera mounted on his helmet has recorded some of his journeys. This was his view cycling at Great Shelford on the outskirts of Cambridge last November, a road with a 40-mile-an-hour limit and a clearly marked cycle lane. He steers his way around a bus. Later, he sees a car in the distance, parked on the cycle lane.
I looked back, I could see the road was clear for me to move out. There was a vehicle behind me already moving out to make space for me. And as I passed a parked car, the vehicle that was passing me hit me from behind. I think as you get older, you know that every time you get hit and knocked down, that it's harder to get up again. And so that really the biggest trauma of this isn't the cuts and bruises, it's not minor damage to the bicycle, it's worries about what would have happened if that car had been going faster, what might happen when it happens again, maybe, and concerns about facilities on the road for cyclists. Maybe the facilities aren't good enough.
Paul Jones says this time he escaped without major injury. He can only hope there won't be a next time.
Our feature on Look East brought in quite a lot of comment. I have to say that was fairly anti-cyclist. Lloyd Haley from Bedford says if they want to use the road and have dedicated cycle paths, why don't cyclists pay road tax? Bob Herbert, Pollyanna Kingham from Biggleswade, Steve Cole from Hitchin, all of them agreed, and many more. Dave Ward asks why cyclists think they have a given right to complain about cars that actually pay for the facilities they use. Maureen Gisby says cyclists have no regard for motorists, and she criticises terrible road manners. Tony Power from Essex says cyclists get off your high horse, learn to use the road properly, stop jumping traffic lights and riding with no hands. But on the other side of the coin, Sam Pyburn from Milton Keynes asked if the residents of that affluent area of Cambridge think they're above the law. If parking is such an issue, open the gates to your long driveways. Stop blocking the highway. Susan Blight says the residents' view is blinkered. If there was a safe cycle path, there'd be a lot more cyclists and fewer cars. Shame we didn't catch on years ago like the Dutch, she says. And Lucy Williams says we're all going to have to adapt our behaviour. The car has been king for too long. And I must say, quite a few of you picked us up. They've spotted that one of these was not being worn by the lady who was championing the cyclist cause in our report. They say, surely she should have been. Well, one of these is a really good investment. This is just under 40 quid, but you can get them for about 20 quid, and they do save lives. Thanks for all your comments.
Kim, thank you very much.
Well, later in the programme, could you be a foster parent? We speak to one couple about the highs